Last month, a hospital CEO asked me to deliver a 2-hour training for staff on teamwork based on my book, No More Team Drama. He said the workshop had to be so good that it impacted how employees showed up for the next year because he didn't have the time or the resources to do anything else on the topic. I told him that, well, I thought the workshop was quite good, that if I agreed to his approach, I'd be wasting his employees' time and the hospital's money. I'll tell you what his approach was missing in this episode of Your Practice Ain't Perfect on why staff training doesn't stick. Play that funky theme song, please. Here's the deal. One and done training doesn't work. If you gather employees to do periodic training on topics like teamwork or customer service or even processes and procedures, and you expect a one-time event to change behavior over the long term, you're going to be disappointed. Why? Because 50% of what your employees learned in that training will be forgotten within hours of the program, and 80% of it will have faded within a matter of days. The only way to overcome this predictable phenomenon is to pair your training event with 2 additional components: a set of clearly spelled out micro behaviors for employee use, and a reinforcement curriculum that unfolds over time. Think of it this way. When you taught your kids to tie their shoes, did you review it once and then toss them a pair of Nikes and say, "Good luck, sweetie"? Of course not. That would be absurd. I bet you did 2 things, though, that made the learning stick. First, you broke the challenge down into smaller, bite-sized steps. Second, you worked on it repeatedly over time until they could tie their shoes without even thinking about it anymore. These are the same 2 approaches that must be built into any kind of development efforts if you want knowledge to be retained and new behaviors to show up. Your team needs bite-sized steps, micro behaviors. To get them, your training content will have to push past the generic descriptive language that is far too common in workshops. For example, lots of training on teamwork uses words like respect or collaboration or support. Those are adjectives which are subjective and unclear. When I teach teams how to be respectful or increase collaboration, I zero in on minute tactics, behaviors, like repeat someone's objections back to them to confirm your understanding, or ask questions face-to-face whenever possible using email as a last resort. This hyperspecificity is key to making change possible and making training usable. Now, after the training event, those behaviors and the employee's reasons for wanting to use them must be reinforced again and again over time. I call this a reinforcement curriculum. This is all the ways you keep those specific new behaviors top of mind for staff in the weeks and months following the training. Your reinforcement curriculum can include sharing stories, posting reminder signage in backstage areas, revisiting content in meetings or huddles, or delivering bite-sized reminders or scripts or tools via email. These things must drip, drip, drip out over time to help the topic go from being something they heard to being something they learned. The hospital CEO I told you about, he's a smart guy. He is dedicated to his employees, to his organization, and to the patients they see every day. When I told him that his one-and-done approach wouldn't give him the results he needed, and told him why, he agreed, and we ended up partnering on a more sophisticated project where I built a reinforcement curriculum for him to pair with my on-site workshop. The content will drip out over 6 months. It requires little added time or coordination from hospital leadership, and the cost wasn't that much more than a standalone training. So there you have it. If you are working to develop your team in specific areas, make sure your efforts include hyper-specific behaviors that get reinforced constantly over time. If you like this video, please share it. And if you want to learn more about how I can design and deliver a behavior-based training project for your organization, contact me via email, joe@joemull.com, and let's have a conversation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.